Part 3. The Replacement. The manager wasted no time, and was quick to make contact with railways on the mainland. Eventually, one of them agreed to send over one of their engines. In the meantime, the express had been shortened to its original length with coaches. Ernest had no trouble after that, but the passengers weren't pleased to be squashed in once again. One day, Ernest was taking on water in the yard, when he heard an unfamiliar whistle. He observed as a bright red engine pulled up in front of him. He was a tender engine, like himself, but had 4 driving wheels and 4 smaller trailing ones in front. From that, Ernest knew who this was. "Hello," said the engine cheerfully. "My name is Edward." "I'm Ernest," came the unwelcome reply. "You're the new express engine, I presume?" "Oh, indeed I am," smiled Edward, nervously. "I believe you're also an express engine?" "Apparently not any more. Now, if you'll excuse me." With that, he snorted away, leaving a perplexed Edward behind. Soon, Edward was put to work, and was quick to get the hang of pulling the express. The passengers were most impressed with the new engine, and always sang his praises. Edward had been a little worried at first, and had a strong feeling of being on the spot, but the positivity he received made him feel better. He eventually met Lily and Liam, who were far more pleasant than Ernest. "Did you manage with that dreaded hill?" inquired Lily. "I honestly didn't feel a difference," laughed Edward. "I must admit, I did worry when I first saw it during my arrival, but in the end, it was nothing." Just then, they heard a whistle, and saw Ernest slunk by with some coaches. "Oh, here comes Mr. Stroppy," teased Liam. Ernest ignored him, and didn't even glance over as he passed. "Does he not like me?" asked Edward. "I don't think it's you, necessarily," replied Lily. "It's more what your presence means for him." Edward slowly started to understand. The former express engine had his duties changed. Now he was stuck on smaller, slower passenger trains, but stopped at every single station. He should be happy to still have work, but his spirits were low. To him, Edward felt like a thief, stealing his train and his pride. "I'll show them," he puffed to himself. "I'll show them I'm still worthy. I'll always be worthy." A few days later, Ernest was waking up for the day when his driver arrived. He had important news. "I've been told Ed was having problems with his firebox, so the manager wants us to take the morning express." Ernest was delighted. He couldn't believe it. "However, there'll be a banker waiting for us before the hill. They'll escort us up and again on the way back." Now, Ernest was seething. "A banker?" he shouted. "Does the manager really think that low of me?" "Of course he doesn't," sighed the driver. "We just don't want to stall on the hill, like we nearly did last time. Now come on." Still feeling very cross, Ernest snorted off to the station. He grumbled when he backed onto the train, and was still grumbling long after they left. "It's shameful, absolutely shameful," he huffed. "I won't stand for it." It was then that he had an idea, one that was sure to prove its worth to the manager. "Yes," he smirked to himself, "that will do it." At the station before the hill, the banker sat waiting for the express to arrive. Ernest would have to come to a stop to allow her to pull up from behind. When Ernest did arrive, he didn't stop, nor did he even slow down. He just continued speeding past the station. "Oi, come back, you idiot!" cried the banker. But Ernest didn't hear her. "What are you doing?" wailed the driver. "We need to go back." "No, we don't," snapped Ernest. "I never needed a banker, and I certainly won't need one today." He made it to the hill and charged. But halfway up, he quickly began to slow down. So he pulled even harder, huffing and panting as he did. He made one more wheel turn and... Ow! He spluttered, as with a loud bang, steam shot out of his cylinder, and he crawled to a halt. The pain was unbearable. "Idiot!" yelled the driver. "Absolute idiot!" Ernest had no breath to reply. Soon the banker arrived to see the commotion, only to groan at the sight. "Oh, sod off," she said. "I'm not pushing the train and that big tart at once." When word reached the yards, Edward was sent to the rescue. Ernest looked very forlorn. Edward didn't know what to say, so he coupled up to him and took the train to the next station. Ernest was eventually brought back to the sheds. No one came to repair him, or even inspect the damage. By the following morning, he found out why. The manager stood coldly in front of him. "I know you were upset about Edward taking your place, Ernest, and I am sympathetic to that. However, I have no sympathy for your actions yesterday. You could have brought severe harm to your passengers, all because you wouldn't accept a little help." "I thought I didn't need help," mumbled Ernest quietly. "Well, clearly you did, and now you have caused significant damage to yourself. Expensive damage. The board is very unhappy as well," continued the manager. "Not only have you become outdated, they also consider you a danger to the railway. And so, there is only one option I have." "Sir?" gasped Lily. "Are you suggesting—" "I am afraid, Ernest, that you are to be withdrawn. You will be taken to the back of the yard and stay there until we are ready." He strolled away, leaving a deafening silence amongst the engines. Soon, another engine arrived to pick Ernest up. "I'm sorry, Ernest," said Lily, "but you should have known better than to do what you did. I knew this was going to happen one day, but you could have left with pride, not with shame." "I did have pride," retorted Ernest. "I had a wonderful train, and I had you and the others as my dearest friends. And then—" He trailed off, glaring at Edward, who was taken aback. Hold on," he stammered. "I only came here to work. I wanted to be useful and get along with everyone. I never wanted to replace you. I wanted to be friends with you." "It doesn't matter," interrupted Ernest. "No matter what you wanted to do, that's what you were." He then gave a long, tired sigh. "Farewell, Lily. I hope you and Liam will last longer than I have. And you," he added, giving one more look at the young red engine. "Enjoy your time with the express, Edward. I understand now. It won't be yours forever." With that, Ernest fell into silence as he was towed away. Edward remained stunned for a long time afterwards. He worked hard as usual, and got on well with most of the engines. But the former express engine's words never left him. In the following years, Edward secretly lived in uncertainty, not so much on if he would receive a similar fate, but when.